Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. Now for some of you out there, you say things like, I don't like these videos. Why you got to talk about other people? Why can't you just stick to training? Well, first of all, I gave you two informative videos already this morning talking about training, safety, everything else. And you saw the title of this video when you clicked on it, so I don't know what you're doing here. Alright guys, but I have been made aware of some comments made down in Cali Muscle's newest video about his dogs. Let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Alright guys, alright. Now I made a video the other day noting that Cali Muscle was missing in action. And I guess he pretty much hit the 2-week mark because it was 2 weeks, no YouTube videos. So at least we know that he's back, he's alive, he's not in the penitentiary, he's not in the hospital or anything else. Because Sunday, after 2 weeks away, he put up a video or two. You know, when he introduced his dog, little Bruce. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. That's actually a good looking dog. That's a handsome little Doberman puppy. I'm not going to lie. My heart melted a little bit when I saw that cute little Doberman. Actually, that's a breed of dog that I happen to like. One I've considered getting myself. So, you know, good breed. I used to have a neighbor who raised them. I'm actually relatively fond of the breed. They're fantastic dogs. They're intelligent, great guard dogs, great working dogs. So, had the dog there. But then, you know, we kind of found out something. It looks like, based upon what we saw, they're having trouble having a kid. They're having a little bit of trouble with it. Now, you guys know my stance on this before. I made a video before that given the fact that both of them have made actual jokes about childhood sexual abuse, have actually made jokes about the topic on camera, which you guys recall me pointing it out. I linked it with timestamps before. There's people that I'm not sure it's a good idea they should be having children. I mean, I'm not going to pull punches on that. People who are willing to get in front of a camera and publicly make jokes about children being abused and think it's funny, those aren't exactly the sort of people that you want to have around children. And you know, I got worried when I thought they were going to try to have a kid. I mean, I'm not being a dick, guys. I'm not being funny. I'm not trolling. I'm being dead serious. I don't think that's a good idea. I am myself a survivor of this sort of thing. So, you know, to me, that's a big red flag. So maybe we've dodged a bullet and these two aren't going to have a kid. I'm hoping. But instead they've got a dog. There you go. You can have a dog. You can have a dog. Now we can argue about how good a dog parents are going to be. You know, a lot of people already commented they didn't like it. He had cropped the dog's ears. I understand that's a big topic. Depends upon the person. I know there's a lot of arguments for and against. We used to raise boxers growing up, and we didn't crop the ears, even though we had family members who did, because we raised boxers that my dad's family had brought across from them when they immigrated to the U.S. Because they're a Czechoslovakia breed originally. That's where they originated, to my understanding, and my dad's family brought some with them over here. And yeah, for those curious, you know, I'm Czech. So we didn't do that. We chose not to with our dogs. I understand it's a choice other people make. Same thing. I've got a pit mix. We've chose to leave his ears natural. His ears are cute the way they are. I don't have a big problem with people choosing to do that. Even as a dog lover, I don't have a big problem with that. It's just something I chose not to do, and my family chose not to do with our animals. We just decided it wasn't necessary. And besides, like my dog now, my little pit mix, he's got cute ears. I like his ears. I like them how they are. They add character because they got the little bit of flop at the top, like little antennas, and they perk up. So, you know, they're just too cute to cut. I just, you know, can't do it. Just can't do it. I think they add character. So, got the dog, and it kind of comes back to a point, guys, that we got to make. Yeah, they're having trouble having a kid. You know, she's kind of like, well, it takes time. Well, not necessarily, man. Believe me, there's people in trailer parks all over America cranking out whole litters. All right, there's plenty of people who don't have any trouble cranking out 3, 4, 5 of them. Happening everywhere. It takes time. Well, why is it taking time? I mean, Kelly abused a lot of gear. He abused a lot of gear, guys, and that comes back to a point I always make with people. If you're going to roll the dice, you got to pay the price. And if you are stepping back saying, you know what, I really want to be a father one day, it's really important to me down the road, or I think it might be, I'm not sure if I want to be a dad. Because some people know they don't want to be a dad. Some people do. Now, if you're a person who knows they don't want to be a dad, like I knew early on in life, I didn't necessarily want to be a dad. I got my own reasons. I didn't want to have children, and I know a lot of people are going to be shocked to hear that. And it's not that a lot of people I know said you'd make a great father. I don't know that I would. And so it's just a choice that I've made to not have kids, There's been times later on I thought about it. But, decided it just wasn't for me. It wasn't in the cards. And it is what it is. Got my own reasons, my own personal reasons. So, that being said, and I think that's just me being a responsible person. And it has to do with my own history as a kid, and it has to do with me for the fact of me being worried that I'd be too protective and smothering of a child, and that is what it is. I feel like I'd be too worried about them all the time that I think it would interfere with my ability to be a good parent. So, got that. But that's the point we come to with things like anabolics. And that's something people need to think about real seriously, the side effects of these things. Yes, I agree. I agree that the negative effects have been overblown by the media and demonized by politicians in the media, more so than they should be. But to imply that they are risk-free is just silly. That's not true. And that's one of those things people need to consider before they start jumping into this. You need to factor in, are you going to end up, you think you're going to end up abusing it, or are you just going to do it once? Because a lot of people say, I'm just going to try to get to my natural limit, then come off. Well, those games can get real addictive, guys. They can get real addictive. And what you're going to need to factor in is that if you think there's any possibility you might want to be a father one day, you might want to reconsider taking that plunge. Because it's one of the actual risks that you're going to suffer. There is a chance that you are going to reduce your ability to father children. Not guaranteed. And sometimes it's temporary. It can oftentimes be reversed, but it's going to cost money. It's going to take you time. And there's things like HCG therapy and everything that people do that take 90 to 120 days to even start working. And it works for a pretty large percentage of people who did lower their sperm count this way. But it's not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. So that's a risk that you take if you choose to abuse anabolics. You're going to take that risk that you may not be able to father children. And you take someone like Callie, that is not a casual user. Callie Muscle doesn't know how to train at all. He is a guy who, if he trained the way that he trained, without all the stuff, he'd probably be 160 pounds. He'd be 160 pounds at a low body fat the way that he trains. He wouldn't be big because he doesn't really know how to train. And the size and the leanness that he maintained year round, he used mind-boggling amounts. He didn't just use a little bit of stuff, guys. That is very serious abuse. Serious level abuse. He's not just dabbling. So, that's the other thing I would point out to a woman. This chick, Helena, whatever her name is, again, likes to make pedophile jokes. Decided to get with this guy and decides she wants children, knowing that this is a guy who is a massive abuser of anabolics. And, the point you accepted that is that there's a good chance he might be sterile. There's a real good chance. So, just some common sense to the women out there. You're going to choose to get with some of these ultra-jacked dudes. You might want to factor in they might not be able to have kids. And you got the other thing to consider. He's the booty warrior. All this stuff about the penitentiary, him doing the whole Chuck Basher thing. He had this whole Chuck Basher thing, all the G4P and everything he did. Now, he might have a little bit of difficulty getting the job done, even if he's not, even if he's not fertile. Because maybe he's with a woman publicly just to save face. Because a lot of his audience, he always hides that. He hides the Chuck Basher thing. He didn't want to talk about all his history with the G4P and everything, even though it's out there. He didn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want it known, because a lot of his audience, you think about his demographic of who he tries to appeal to. A lot of the people he tries to appeal to, again, people in gang culture, thing like that. There's a very, very homophobic crowd oftentimes. They don't actually usually have a lot of tolerance for that. So, if it becomes really widespread or people suspect that he might be that way, it could hurt his outreach with that demographic. Now, his other demographic could be cool with it. He's got a whole other demographic who would love that fact, right? But that doesn't seem to be who he wants to try to reach to as his primary audience. A big chunk of his outreach is to members of other subgroups in society. Is a big part of his outreach, and a lot of those people they don't tolerate that. They don't have a lot of use for that sort of stuff. So it could just be that he with her just to try to keep it down on the down low. So there's also that factor to consider there. So he might actually have, and I'm not even saying that as a joke. He might have some trouble sealing the deal. You are who you are. There's no, as the Booty Warrior said, it ain't no shame in my game. I am who I am. But I'm a warrior. You guys remember the clip. It is what it is, guys. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.